to Break Even by Breakfast, a show on the accounting channel about successful startups. I'm your host, Mark Sweetman, and today I'm joined by Sami Start, co-founder of Transak. Transact is a single integration for blockchain apps and wallets, which allows users to buy and sell cryptocurrency with everyday fiat currency. Good afternoon, Sami, and thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks.
So, Sami, for those who haven't heard of yourself and Transact, can you tell us a bit about the company, what problem it solves, and how it all started?
Right. So I'm going to describe the version that for people that don't know too much about blockchain or cryptocurrency. So what Transact is it's a tool that allows an end user to trade a fiat currency, that is pounds, euros, USD, any other currency, into a cryptocurrency, which could be Ethereum, Bitcoin, or any of the other hundreds of cryptocurrencies out there. And Transact is also a developer integration. So it's also a B2B integration that can be plugged inside another app. And you can call it a fiat to crypto payment gateway. And the reason why you'd want to do this is that there are an increasing number of apps that are using the blockchain under the hood. So they're using blockchain technology, and therefore they're using cryptocurrencies. And what Transact does is it allows those apps to be used by a mainstream audience who don't own cryptocurrency. This could be anything from a finance product that allows you to invest, and the user can now invest with pounds or euros, or it could be a remittance product. So you can put in pounds and then you can take out Indian rupees in an instant with very little cost. And there are more and more use cases coming up all the time. You know, things like betting or gaming or anything like that. And that's what we do. And we're growing really fast. We started to do millions of dollars of volume per month now. And we're also a venture-backed company as well.
I'm really interested to hear about the B2B, because while buying cryptocurrency with fiat currency, making that transaction easy is great in itself. Are you saying, like, with B2B applications that potentially I could go online and buy something in cryptocurrency without actually owning the cryptocurrency at that point in time? Is that how it would work, the B2B?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if you think about it, that's the whole point of blockchain in the first place. Is the previous applications where you can buy cryptocurrency is that you're just speculating on it. You're just buying it because you think the price is going to go up. The whole reason why the cryptocurrency is valuable is because it's supposed to have some kind of use case, right? And that use case is in an application. And this is the market that we're serving. It's currently a niche market, you can say, but we think that within a few years it's going to be mainstream. So everyone from my parents to the person on the street is going to be using blockchain sort of without realizing it.
Pretty apt in 2020 as well with coronavirus. You see that a lot, just purely because money is a physical substance, that a lot more people are going digital, and then nearly altogether skipping the credit cards and just going straight to blockchain and digital cryptocurrencies. How's the business going so far for you?
The business is going really well. Yeah. So we're now at a stage where we've proven our initial concept. So we've shown that this is something that people want. It's not just some crazy idea that someone had in the shower. This is actually something that people are using, and we're doing a few $1 million a month in volume. And we've also proven that we can execute it, right? We can actually build the operations and the technology that can serve the customers, and we now have this kind of base on which we have to scale, right? So we're in this kind of exciting point where we're now, doing our fundraising, we're hiring, we're trying to grow, and it's a really exciting time at the moment.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's always exciting, but also brings loads of new challenges when you're trying to scale, because I know you're switching from bootstrapping lean operations to suddenly, you're trying to blow out everything: sales, marketing, project development, all that stuff. In terms of the challenges for the business, What has been the most challenging non-financial aspect so far?
Communication. And what I mean by that is when you're trying to describe your vision, your plans to anyone from, someone who you're trying to hire, to someone who, you're fundraising off, to, even one of your teammates, there's a lot of context that's in your mind that person doesn't have. You've been doing this for years. What you're doing is built on experiences that have been happening throughout your whole life, and terms or sentences that might just totally make sense to you, just might not register with them in the same way that they register with you. So trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes and communicating is really, really important. And what you notice is over the course of the business is that most of the challenge you have is just getting everyone pointing in the right direction, right? Everyone, most of the people who you work with and yourself are going to be working hard, but the really, really tough thing is to get all of the investors, all of the employees, all of the team pointing in the same direction, seeing the same vision, and so being a really, really good communicator there is something that I put a lot of work into, and I think that I'm getting quite good at it, but it's really a very, very important skill.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I know exactly where you're coming from, because whenever we hire new staff, we have the same issue. We have to train them, and it takes an incredible amount of patience as well as clear communication on what you want to do, because invariably they might mishear something, or they have their own thoughts on how it should be done, and you want it done a certain way. And you all need to be working in the same direction. What has been the most challenging financial aspect?
Something I would say that's probably more specific to Transak is that we're keeping ledgers of our transactions in so many different formats, and we're doing so many different transactions because we're kind of like a currency exchange for cryptocurrency. So we have ledgers of all our bank accounts, and we're supporting so many different payment methods in so many different countries. So you've got ledgers all over the place there. Then we have all our different wallets on all the different blockchains, and then you have ledgers of transactions there. And then you have the orders that are placed by users, and you have your gas fees, and you have there's too many ledgers to even go through now, and making sure that all of those things are reconciled and adding up to what you want them to add up to is a challenge, and doing that whilst growing 30% a week in volume is very, very tough, and you're kind of you're doing the automations and accounting, and every time you finish that, a new ledgers come up or a new revenue stream has come up, and that's really tough.
Sounds like a special pain, because I presume there's no sort of off-the-shelf market solution ready for your specific circumstance in that regard, because there are probably so few crypto exchanges in the world, because it's such a novel industry in itself, that it's quite difficult to find. Have you found solutions to date for managing that sort of operational difficulty?
Yeah, so we're working with a company called Cryptio at the moment, who I'd really recommend, and they have a really good solution for sort of, I guess you can call it like QuickBooks for crypto, where you're connecting your wallets instead of connecting your bank accounts, and then tagging the transactions there. And I would say that's really, really good. Like us, they're kind of a startup, and they solve a lot of the problems that we have. I don't think that there's anyone who's even experienced some of the problems that we're having. So a lot of them we're having to kind of
like bespoke
write our
solutions, basically.
Yeah, we're writing code in house and solving it like that. But yeah, I would recommend checking out Cryptio for the majority of crypto accounting use cases.
Have any actions that you've taken in your company had negative financial impacts, or anything that you regretted doing, that if you could go back in time, you'd undo or wouldn't do it again?
Yeah, a few things. I'm happy to talk about it as well, because I'm sure other founders will go through these same things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that get a good accountant from the start. So don't wait until your business is taking off in order to get a good accountant, because the work that you'd have to do is much harder in retrospect. It's much easier to get the systems in place at the start and have stuff accounted for properly from the start than to do it in retrospect and be like, oh, what was that transaction that I did all those months ago? And yeah, so that's one thing that I would recommend. And another thing I would recommend is just try to keep track of all of your liabilities that you owe to all your service providers. And if you're making agreements and you're signing things, then any liabilities that you have, they need to go on the books, and you need to be aware of it in your balance sheet and adjust your cash flows accordingly.
Thanks, and I appreciate you saying all that, because no matter how hard we try to tell people, they'd never listen. And it's unfortunately one of those things where you don't need to buy it and can continue operating your business without sorting it out.
Yeah.
You can't operate your business without a website, for example, but you can sort it out or operate without an accountant. So
yeah, when you're setting up a company, get a good accountant, get a good lawyer, and all of the other stuff can be innovative and creative and fun, but the boring stuff,
your bedrock, your foundation, so to speak. Yeah.
There's nothing creative or interesting there. It just needs to be done properly. Be creative and chaotic, and lean startup with all the other stuff. But the accounting, just do it properly, because there's nothing to innovate on or to win there. It just needs to be done. Like you shouldn't build your products really, really properly from the start. You can hack it, and you can be creative and chaotic, and you'll probably end up scrapping it and building a better version another time later. But counterintuitively, you have to have that like creative, chaotic mindset for most areas of the business, but like have the serious, sensible mindset for those, bedrock, as you say.
Yeah, great. And so just to move on to sales and marketing in your business, it sounds like you have a mix of B2B and B2C, but B2C might be your bigger operation. Correct me if I'm wrong. How do you sort of attack both sides? Like, how do you do sales and marketing for B2C and sales and marketing for B2B, or are they just joined together?
Mm-hmm. So B2C is actually a larger revenue stream for us at the moment, but it's not our vision. So we don't actively market B2C. In the space we've developed a name, and people know who we are because we do tweets, and we're working with someone, we always sort of co-market with them, and our name gets out, and we attract B2C volume through that. But pretty much all of our efforts at the moment in sales and marketing are going towards B2B. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they're sort of two different beasts. Like the marketing to B2C is a lot of customers, small volume. Marketing B2B though it's a few customers, large volume, which you think is great, but actually the lead time into those big companies can be years. So the whole sales cycle. And I've been through that, and they're not, one's not easier than the other. I found they just have different difficulties, really. So, but you've got both now, so so you're trying to go to B2B more in the future.
Yeah. So if you want, I can talk a bit about both and what's worked.
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say B2C is very much like the throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. It's you have to try lots of different methods, and you can read the textbooks and you can read the blog posts, but everyone's trying to market, right? So the mainstream channels that you see in the guides are not going to be fruitful, right? Because they're going to be so overdone. So you have to kind of think about where your customers reside. And for us, a lot of it's on Twitter. And I would say try to do your marketing for free if you can. Like if you're having to pay for your marketing, then it just makes it less scalable. It makes it, the kind of customers you get are probably not going to be a sustainable source of marketing for you. So for us, co-marketing on Twitter has worked really well. Like whenever we do some kind of partnership with any partner, we usually do a tweet with them, and then they get exposed to our audience, we get exposed to their audience. And then I think also just being creative and genuine, like whenever we post something or market something and we put like good effort into, doing good diagrams and communicating in a really interesting way, like, writing something that people actually want to see, people appreciate that, and they'll share it with their network as well.
Yeah, content-led marketing that actually gives some value to the reader, not just sell to them, basically.
Yeah, I think anyone who's watching this who's from a marketing background is probably going to realize that I'm actually like an engineering background and I don't really know what I'm talking about. But these are just some of the things. These are just some of the things that work for us. And we have gotten a lot of marketing done for free that way.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And then with B2B sales, it's more direct talking to different companies, basically.
Yeah, I would say with B2B, you have to think of B2B as a lot more rational and logical, and you have to think of B2B sales as you're doing a job for someone else, and your job as a salesperson is not to be slick or to bend the truth, or your job is well, this is the way I see it, is to be very honest and to put yourself in that person's shoes. This is a person representing a company that has some kind of goal. Either they've identified a problem and they've come to you, or you've identified a problem that they have and you've gone to them. And your job is to really listen to that problem in detail and then try to communicate efficiently a solution that works specifically for them, right? So you're not going to give them the same pitch that you give everyone. You're going to hear like, okay, we need to solve this problem this way. And then you're going to say, oh, our product has this feature, or we could change this and make it work in this situation. And then also try to do that in a way where you're reflecting your company well, and you're giving them confidence in your company that you're someone who's going to be there for them and be reliable as well.
And where do you find those businesses or the right people in those businesses, let's say?
So in the early days of the company, it was really, outbound and really, knocking on people's doors and trying to get warm intros to this company or that company. And whenever you do an outbound, you should always try to ask that person, if there's anyone that they know, and you kind of build your network. And probably in the really early days, your company won't be impressive enough to actually land the sale. Mm-hmm. But those people, you can build that relationship, and you might end up closing them.
Keep knocking on the door, basically.
Yeah, and write notes on everything as well. And then as you grow, as we grow, we've started to get a lot more inbounds. So as we're doing this content marketing, or as we're serving customers, that's kind of word of mouth coming in. So as you're growing, you should make sure that your website or your digital presence makes it easy for people to register their interest with you and get in touch as well.
Sure, yeah, and there seems to be a point at which if you get enough key reference suppliers or key reference clients, that the industry kind of wants to catch up with those people because they're competitors essentially, and you'll be able to sell more to those businesses. So that's probably how your inbound also grows, as your solution works and is being used by people in the industry. So that's some good advice there. Where will your business be in 3 to 5 years?
In 3 to 5 years, Transak is going to be something that's used by mainstream people, and you probably won't know that you're using Transact, but right now we're serving a niche market, and the kind of apps that we're serving are used by people who are really into crypto, kind of tinfoil hat people, if you will, in the same way that in the early days of the internet, it was people who were just kind of geeks and interested in the space.
Yeah, it's funny. It's been around 10 years and it's still got that connotation with it. It's still got a dodgy sort of bad rep, even though it's come in leaps and bounds in the last few years in terms of progress, but it still has that dodgy reputation, I find anyway.
Yeah, I think in retrospect, it looks like the internet just popped up one day and was very popular. But at the same time, it took decades for HTTP and all of these protocols to be developed, and to actually build viable applications on it took a long time. And I think now we're kind of getting there where you're getting useful blockchain applications, somewhere where you can actually invest money and it's safe and reliable and you can earn a high interest rate.
Yeah.
So it is a big challenge what you're saying. I think we're step by step, we're kind of getting there. I think that once it comes, it's going to be hard to stop. In a sense, for example, chip and pin, people said, oh, chip and pin's not catching on and no one wants to pay with this. But once it's actually implemented, like everyone wants to use it.
Yeah, now we have tap as well. I lived in a country where chip and pin still wasn't there as far back as 2018. Like you're still signing for a piece of paper. And now then you come back to Ireland or sorry, the modern world, and you're tapping, so.
Yeah. So maybe a funny way to end the answer, but it will be kind of and in everyday lives in the same way as chip and pin, and there won't be any coming back from that.
So Transact won't exactly be a household name, but it'll be something that is used by people every day nearly, hopefully, and that's the vision 3 to 5 years time.
Yeah, it will be more of a sort of business hold name, if you will, something like Stripe or something like that.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thanks very much for coming on the show. And I loved it. I really like talking about cryptocurrency, and I wish we could get more companies that are in that space. I found it really insightful, and I hope these conversations about crypto, I hope also change people's attitudes towards it, because it's still seen as a dodgy space, but in reality, it's coming to a town near you very, very soon, and you'll be using it without even realizing it. So that's pretty fascinating. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Sami. It was great. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon for another episode of Break Even by Breakfast.